What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Saturday evening. Reason why I wanted to make this video is 3 days ago, the FDA finally approved lab grown meat, which is definitely to my satisfaction. I tried it out a couple of years ago and I knew it was the real McCoy, that it was a real alternative to farm raised beef. Now, granted, the texture was not good at the time as it should have been, but they've made leaps and bounds and improvements. But most importantly, it is real meat. It is definitely not some tofu burger or anything like that. And it's very delicious and it's getting a lot better. In 2 years, you're going to see this in a lot of fancy restaurants because the good thing about lab grown meat is that you can customize the fat, the proteins, and everything. So you're going to see this in a lot of fancy restaurants. In 5 years, it's going to be on your grocery store. In 10 years, you're going to be able to get food at cost so low that you will be bound to pick it up there. And by that time, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between farm raised beef and lab grown meat. So great news for me. And in about 30 years, when I'm old and gray or just rolled up out of here, essentially put the days of meat packing facilities are going to be a thing of the past. No different than hunting. Over about 120 years ago, the way we got food is we went out and hunted for it. So this is basically going to be taking care of the meat processing and stuff like that. Not only that, it's going to feed the world. Now, I went to Ella and a couple other vegans, and I've mentioned this before in other debates. But you would think that they would get behind something like this because this ends the slaughterhouses. This ends all of their complaints about abuse and death and suffering of animals when you actually have meat that does not cause any harm to any animals whatsoever. You would think they would get behind it. No, they didn't. Told Ella about it. Vegan Gaze, she hated it. Told Vegan Games knows about it. I told him about his debate. He hates it. Vegan Booty doesn't like it. Joey Carbstrone doesn't like it. Why? And here's the reason being there. You see, all of their stuff that they talk about is just bullshit. They're not invested and they don't give a rat's ass about the animals. All they care about is making people bow to them. They want everyone to kiss their ass. They want to hold something above you, in other words. That's all they care about. Vegan Booty only cares about one thing, and that's power and money. Okay? That's my opinion. She cares just nothing more than power and money. They don't care about the animals. If they cared about the animals, they would get behind lab-grown meat. And they haven't. And I've explained to Ella, as far as the futility of agricultural farming, you kill more animals growing avocados, potatoes, and lettuce than you will with the production of cows and chickens, literally. She already knows this. She's had plenty of chance to research it. But yet she still makes this vegan argument and does not get behind lab-grown meat and does not have a reason. They just don't. The reason being is they're too invested in veganism, They're not invested in the animals. They're just invested in the movement. You know what I mean? It's like people that join, Amway, for example. Now, I was in Amway myself there. And the thing about Amway is they sold products, and they were sold at a very high price. But, and people spent many years in Amway without ever selling a product. But why did they not sell a product yet stay? It's quite simple. It's a cult, It was a cult to them. If they had left the group, then they no longer have all their friends. They have all their friends and family invested into it. Their vegan family. They have it all invested to it to a point to where I think lab-grown meat is a danger to them because then What are they going to argue about now that the slaughterhouses are gone? You know, like I said, it's not even about the death and suffering of animals, because they already know that eating avocados is going to kill a lot of animals, and they know lab grown meat is going to eliminate the majority of these meat facilities. Now, some people are still going to want their own farm raised steak. Perfectly fine, you know. People still hunt, you know. That's just the same way. We're just giving a viable alternative for those who still want their delicious, juicy T-bone steak, just like the one that I had last night. Uh, you know, they still want that. That's perfectly cool with them. You know, it's a free country. This is America, after all. You know, you are free to eat meat. Meat has been eaten since man went unga bunga and beat their chests. You know, but like I said before, they're invested in that movement. They are not going to get behind lab grown meat, unfortunately. Knowing good and well that it solves everything that they've been complaining and bitching and moaning about. The reason being is because, like I said, it's not even about the animals. It's just about being together. It's a cult, folks. Okay? This vegan activism is nothing more than a vegan terrorist cult. Okay? It's a cult. You know, there's a million things they could be doing in order to really save animals, and they don't do nothing but throw paint at a McDonald's, you know, and yell and scream at people, you know. You know why? Because they enjoy abusing human beings, you know. They talk so much about abuse of animals, they can't even treat human beings like human beings, you know. That just says the most of it. But in any event, fuck them. You know, FDA has approved lab grown meat. We're going to have it in 2 years at a restaurant. We're going to have it 5 years. Everything's going to be hunky dory, you know, and we're never going to have children starve again, you know. It's going to be available everywhere, you know, and it's going to be able to be produced in mass quantities, you know. It's going to be awesome, folks. And you know, if you still want your farm raised beef, you know, I'm going to still enjoy a nice T-bone steak. That's perfectly fine, folks. You know, that's perfectly fine. But the biggest thing is we're in a state of affairs to where, you know, the world population has grown to the point to where eventually we have to have an alternative, uh, you know, to the farm raised beef, you know, and stuff. But that's all I got to say. Like and subscribe to the Vince Goodrum channel. Click the link below. Also visit vincegoodrum.com. And as always, peace and soul.